For children had gone missing from a quiet rural town 3 days ago, panic had gripped the community. Despite massive search efforts involving volunteers, helicopters scanning the woods, and bloodhounds combing trails, there were no clues. It was as if the children had vanished into thin air. Parents clutched their phones day and night, praying for a call that never came. The police were running out of resources. And hope? That's when Officer Jenna Torres arrived with her newly certified K-9 partner, Zeus, a powerful yet focused German shepherd with sharp instincts. Many officers were skeptical. Zeus had never been on a real case before, but Jenna believed in him. He had something special, not just training, but drive. On the fourth morning, Zeus picked up a faint scent from one of the children's backpacks recovered near a barn on the town's outskirts. As the team followed him, he pulled hard toward a collapsed root cellar half buried in overgrowth. He barked furiously at the ground. Digging with his paws, he unearthed a rusted hatch. Inside were the 4 missing children, cold and scared, but alive. Zeus had done what no human or machine could. As tears of relief poured down faces and ambulances rushed in, the town understood. Sometimes a miracle wears fur and a badge. The team pulled up to an old, weather-beaten barn on the outskirts of town, a structure already searched and dismissed by previous teams. It stood silent, its faded red paint peeling under the sun, windows broken and rafters sagging. No one expected to find anything here. It had been checked, cleared, and marked off the search map. But as Officer Jenna Torres stepped out with Zeus, her German shepherd partner, something changed. Zeus sniffed the air, ears pricking sharply. His posture shifted. He pulled hard on the leash, leading Jenna past the rusted tractor and into the dim barn interior. Dust swirled around shafts of sunlight, breaking through the cracks. Nothing seemed unusual until Zeus halted near an old pile of hay bales stacked against the wall. He stiffened, then began barking sharply, not once, but over and over. Officers exchanged uncertain looks. They tried to quiet him, assuming he was reacting to a small animal or an old scent. But Zeus didn't listen. He growled low, then began digging furiously at the hay, scattering it with powerful sweeps of his paws. "Something's wrong," Jenna said firmly, stepping forward. Beneath the hay, Zeus uncovered rotted boards, and beneath those, a metal hatch partially buried in dirt. The air coming through was stale, but distinct. Jenna's heart pounded. It wasn't a false alarm. Zeus had found something, and it was about to change everything. Zeus clawed with unrelenting urgency, his paws tearing through loose soil, hay, and rotting wood. Splinters flew, and clouds of dust rose around him. Officer Jenna Torres stayed close, her breath caught in her chest, trusting every movement of her partner. The other officers watched, some still doubtful, until Zeus suddenly froze. His body went rigid, ears perked high, nose pressed to the cracked earth. The barn, once filled with only the sounds of creaking wood and heavy breathing, fell utterly silent. Then a sound. Zeus let out a low whine, ears twitching. Jenna knelt beside him, listening. One of the senior officers dropped to his knees and pressed an ear to the ground. For a moment, nothing. Then, soft, trembling. A cry, muffled, weak, but unmistakably human. "Dear God," he whispered, "there's someone down there." In an instant, radios buzzed. Shovels were pulled from trunks. Officers dug with bare hands, urgency overtaking disbelief. The earth beneath the barn had hidden what everyone feared had been lost forever. Jenna looked at Zeus, who stared at the hatch with unwavering focus. "You found them," she whispered, choking back emotion. The sound of crying grew louder, no longer faint but rising. Voices, 4 of them. They were alive, and they were waiting. Beneath the barn's rotting floorboards lay a hidden root cellar, expertly concealed under layers of dirt, hay, and decaying planks. It was no wonder previous search teams had missed it. The hatch had been buried for years, camouflaged so perfectly it blended into the ground itself. But Zeus had sensed what no one else could. His instincts had pierced through every layer of deception. With no time to spare, officers grabbed whatever tools they had, shovels, crowbars, even their bare hands. The dirt flew in every direction. Jenna dropped to her knees, digging alongside Zeus, whose paws were raw but still moving. The scent was stronger now, the urgency more real. Every second felt eternal. Then, with a loud creak, the hatch finally gave way. A rush of stale, damp air escaped, carrying with it a faint sound whimpering. Flashlights beamed down into the dark, narrow cellar. And there they were, 4 children, huddled together, their faces pale and streaked with dirt. Their eyes blinked against a sudden light. For a moment, no one moved, stunned that after 3 agonizing days, the children were truly alive. Officers lowered themselves into the cellar gently, lifting the children out one by one. They were cold, weak, dehydrated, but miraculously unharmed. Blankets were wrapped around their trembling shoulders. Paramedics rushed in. Tears rolled down cheeks hardened by years on the force. Parents were already on the way. Jenna looked at Zeus, who sat now, panting, eyes fixed on a hatch. She knelt and buried her face in his fur. "You did it," she whispered. "You brought them home." The town was shaken to its core. In the aftermath of the rescue, the overwhelming question echoed through every street, every home. How did we miss this? The barn had been searched twice. The root cellar was so well hidden, so expertly buried. It became clear this was no accident. Someone had put the children there, someone who knew the barn intimately, maybe even someone from the town. Within hours, the case shifted from a missing persons investigation to a full-blown criminal probe. Investigators sealed off the barn, this time with forensic teams combing every inch. Tire tracks, fingerprints, and disturbed earth offered new clues. A trail had finally appeared, one that led straight back to whoever had orchestrated this unthinkable act. But amid the chaos and disbelief, the community's focus turned to an unlikely hero, Zeus, the German shepherd who had never been on a real case, the dog many had doubted. He wasn't just AK-9, he was the reason those children were alive. While trained officers, machines, and maps had failed, Zeus had sensed what no one else could. His relentless drive, his refusal to give up when others told him to stop, had made the difference between life and death. People gathered outside the station, leaving treats, hand-drawn signs, and letters addressed simply to Zeus the Brave. Reporters camped on the lawn. National outlets called. But Jenna shielded her partner from the noise. Zeus didn't want the spotlight. All he wanted was to serve. And he had, with heart, instinct, and a loyalty deeper than words. The entire town gathered for a ceremony in the square, where a large banner fluttered above the stage. Asterisk welcome home, heroes. Asterisk children held signs with paw prints drawn in crayon. Veterans saluted. The mayor took the microphone with a trembling voice, declaring that Zeus will receive the town's Medal of Valor, the first non-human ever to be awarded such an honor. News vans lined the streets. Headlines across the country hailed him. Asterisk, the dog with the sixth sense. Asterisk, Zeus became a symbol of hope, of courage, of the extraordinary things animals can sense that humans cannot. But for Officer Jenna Torres, it wasn't about fame or front pages. She stood quietly beside her partner, hand resting on his back, eyes glassy with emotion, because she knew the full story. Zeus wasn't just a hero. He was a survivor. Before joining the force, Zeus had been rescued from an illegal breeding ring. Underfed, scarred, and terrified of human touch. It had taken months of rehabilitation and trust building for him to even make eye contact with a handler. Many had written him off, saying he was too damaged to serve. But Jenna had seen something different. She chose him when no one else would. And now, he had proven his worth in a way no one could have imagined. As applause thundered and a medal was fastened to his vest, Zeus sat calmly, looking not at the cameras or crowd, but at Jenna, his partner, his person, the one who never gave up on him. Together, they had saved lives, and in doing so, redeemed each other. The children, though shaken from their ordeal, began to recover slowly in the warmth of the hospital's care. Their bodies were dehydrated and bruised, but it was the fear in their eyes that took the longest to fade. Doctors and nurses did everything they could, soft voices, night lights, and constant reassurance. But what truly broke through the trauma wasn't medicine or therapy. It was Zeus. Each child, when asked what they needed, whispered the same request. Asterisk, can I see the dog? Asterisk, the hospital staff made the arrangements. And the following afternoon, Officer Jenna Torres walked Zeus into the children's ward. The sterile hallway quieted. As Zeus padded softly toward their rooms, a buzz of excitement spread through the air. When he entered, everything changed. The smallest child sat up for the first time, her face glowing. Another gasped and reached out with trembling fingers. Zeus approached gently, licking their hands, wagging his tail with calm joy, then lay beside each bed as if guarding them. His eyes were soft. His presence was healing. He didn't bark, didn't rush. He simply knew. He moved from child to child like he remembered them all, like he had carried each scent in his heart. Nurses had tears in their eyes. Parents stood back, hands to their mouths, watching their children smile for the first time in days. In that moment, Zeus wasn't just a hero, he was their friend, their guardian. The silent promise that they were safe now, and the children believed him. Later, as the town buzzed with media attention and celebration, a reporter sat down with Officer Jenna Torres for a quiet interview outside the precinct. Cameras rolled. Microphones surrounded her. But when the question came, asterisk, what made Zeus dig where others had already walked? Asterisk, Jenna didn't answer right away. She glanced at Zeus, lying nearby in grass, playfully nudging a ball toward the youngest rescued child, his ears perked, his tail thumping. The sun caught the edge of his K-9 badge, making it shimmer like something noble. Jenna blinked back tears, her voice soft but steady. Because he knows what it feels like to be forgotten, she said, and he'll never let anyone else stay buried. The words hung in the air, quiet and profound. The cameras didn't need to roll any longer. The story had already been told, not in headlines, but in dirt-covered paws and rescued lives. As the scream began to fade, Zeus gently laid down beside the child, letting her rest her small hand on his back. He didn't move, just stayed with her, his presence as steady as the earth beneath them. In that moment, he was more than a K-9 unit. He was more than a hero. He was a reminder that courage doesn't always come with uniform or voice. Sometimes it comes on four legs, with a heart that refuses to forget.